I think that one of the great things from these last few weeks is that the masses have been nonviolent, and they've shown a wonderful example of the power of nonviolence. Nonviolence was strong enough to get rid of Mubarak in Egypt. I hope that what replaces Mubarak will be better, more humane, more considerate, more equal than the regime of Mubarak. I recognize that for many Israelis, Mubarak was a good friend. He kept the peace that Sadat signed. So for Israel, that was a great thing, that we didn't have to worry about a big army on the southern border. When I was in the army, I was trained to fight against Egypt. We learned the latest techniques of how to stop the Egyptian army from coming into Israel on the south. And then after the peace was signed with Sadat back in the 70s, our unit was disbanded. We were no longer needed to fight against Egypt. So I benefited from that peace personally. In the War of 73, 3 of my best friends were killed fighting against Egypt. The peace with Egypt was a wonderful thing for us. But with Mubarak gone, there were many Israelis who say, well, maybe the Muslim Brotherhood will come to power, and they won't feel obligated to keep this peace. They'll say Israel must make concessions to Palestinians, and if they don't, then we will cancel the peace and we will put pressure on Israel. And so many Israelis are afraid of that. They're afraid that Egypt will become a very hostile government like Iran, which is Islamic. Now, for me, the message is we must make peace with Palestine, not wait forever, but make the concessions, compromise, reach an agreement. I hope that'll happen. I hope that Egypt doesn't turn to violence against us. And I hope that around the Arab world, we will not rely on dictators that we can buy off with American aid, but instead will be accepted in the Middle East. And, you know, for many Israelis, Israel is not really in the Middle East. They consider Israel really a part of Europe, or even like a little island next to New York. Yeah. This attitude of not being in the Middle East. How many Israelis know Arabic, for example? How many Israelis go to Egypt or to Jordan on vacation? Oh, they come here. It's beautiful here, of course. Asturias. So they go to Italy and they go to England and all that. So this attitude of not being in the Middle East is a big mistake. And so I hope that these developments now will make Israel recognize that these are human beings, that we can see ourselves as brothers, as partners here, and not as part of the Western world which exploits the third world, buys oil cheaply, and keeps people ruled by dictators, and you know, all that whole thing. It's I was born in the United States, but that doesn't mean that I have to think that everything the United States does is good. And I think that in the Middle East, the United States has looked after its interests in a very poor way, but it certainly hasn't looked after the interests of the people there. It's given Israel so much aid, but it hasn't insisted that Israel stop building the settlements in the West Bank. These are big mistakes that Israeli governments make with American support.